Fresh off the caster desk, lane top. How was it casting with those two? It looked like a lot of fun, honestly.
Oh, it was. I mean, casting with Crepo, it was great. We agree on a lot of things, which is nice. We can look a bit at the bot lane, and casting with Demon is always super easy. And as long as you burn him a little bit and he can burn me a little bit, everyone is happy.
Yeah, that's how that relationship works out. Now, we did saw a very convincing game off of Roccat. Let's actually take a look at the bracket where we are at now at the Intel Extreme Masters here. Roccat 2-0ing Dolphins. That means that we will be facing CLG tomorrow. And then now we will have Aces High up against Team Dignitas. And that winner will be going up against Gambit Gaming tomorrow. So, as said, Roccat very convincing. How much of a similar scenario do you think is going to happen here in that next matchup, Aces High versus Dignitas? I do think, I wanted to say Aces up their sleeve. I'm not going to do it until the, damn it.
Too easy. Too easy.
God damn it. But Aces High definitely have some talent in there.
I mean, they do. We all know Holy Phoenix. We've seen him play. He was at Worlds. He can pentakill when they actually qualified for Worlds at Gamescom. I mean, the guy has a lot of experience here. This team as well is created by him. He left Dark Passage. He said, you know what, I will make my own team here. And now we're going to see some of the players at least here. How much they can do, it's going to be super hard to say. And we don't really know what to get from, or what to expect from Dignitas either with the two new players. You have obviously played with a Korean already. I mean, how is it in the start at least when you have to learn to communicate with each other?
So in the start, it's always, it's really hard because usually when a Korean comes over to America, it's a complete lifestyle change and everything. And then the English is not very good and Koreans tend to be like very shy. And I mean, Helios is the exception, like he's super confident. So it's very easy for me to talk to him. But all other Koreans, they are tend to be more introverted and everything. So it's very hard to communicate with them. I mean, you can kind of, if you know the basics, it's really easy, you know, to communicate and say, yeah, we can go. But when it goes more in depth about game stuff, lane swaps and everything, it's a lot harder to actually talk and teach those players because they need to understand everything, you know. And I mean, Seraph, he was actually his English was actually super good at when he left, you know. His English improved so much in one split, but yeah, it just at the start it's gonna be really tough for them. But I think from what I heard, I still talk a lot with Shifter and with Danny, and he said both players are really good. I talked a bit with Core. His English seems fine, you know, he can actually understand. He seems to be confident and generally super happy about everything. And then yeah, I just think that we will see a 2-0 for Dignitas, actually, I think.
Wow, well, it will be very interesting to see how all that plays out. Let's actually take a look at the rosters for these two teams, starting off with the Aces High lineup, as not that many people might be familiar with. We have Taldrin in the top lane, Teoculus in the jungle, Avenue in the mid lane, Holy Phoenix as AD carry, and Noxiac on support. And we did highlight Holy Phoenix already. He does definitely have the potential to carry a lineup like this, but I don't know if he'll get the chance versus that Dignitas.
No, I mean, that's the thing. We might see a lot of focus on this bottom lane, shutting him down early on here. It was funny because I was talking to Edward before about Holy Phoenix, and he's like, you know what? He's a super good AD carry. This is not just a standard AD carry. He's super good. He has the talent. We have seen it before from him. He's definitely the guy they need to have. I mean, he needs to stand up here, step up, and actually carry.
And then on the other side, of course, the Dignitas roster also changes to what we have been seeing. We have in the top lane Gamsus, then we have Gamsu, sorry, that's already butchered his name, I'm sorry for that. Crumbs in the jungle, Shifter in the mid lane, Core JJ on AD carry, and so Kiwi Kid in that support role. So some very crucial changes, yet staying with that support jungler and mid. And as you guys said, we will see what happens with those changes and the Korean players coming in. We definitely heard a lot of good things about Gamsu coming in, being a sub for Samsung Blue, but never actually played a game, you think?
No, I don't think he actually played a game. And Core JJ, he was on Big Farm Miracle. He played in the summer, OG in summer here. And the fact his English is actually okay, because we have seen some videos with him already. It's super important because he's obviously playing a dual lane with Kiwi Kid. You need to be able to communicate properly with each other. And also by keeping Kiwi Kid, you have Crumbs. They have the synergy of this jungle and support one. We always talk about how they need to roam to get up, get the vision down, and that's going to be super important for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem with the AD position, or not a problem, I think it's very easy for a Korean AD carry to adjust, because you don't have to talk a lot as AD carry, you know? I mean, yeah, you have to talk to your support and everything, but in general, I think top lane is probably the hardest role in the game in terms of communicating and making sure that everything goes right, because you need to know your TP timings, you need to know what to do in lane swaps, you need to know every timing, and if you have a language barrier in that role, I mean, I experienced it firsthand how hard it was to actually adjust to those changes, and especially now, you can do a lot of stuff as top laner right now, and like I said, it's just very hard for like language barrier. The top lane has like the most pressure in like almost any game, and like more stakes. Like when the level of the gameplay is actually a bit higher, because people tend to like just play standard in like lower stakes games, and then if it comes to like high level gameplay like Korean League of Legends, the top lane has a lot of pressure on him actually.
We were talking about Rocket before, actually, after that first game, seeing how they looked incredibly strong and they were practicing enough. But what we've seen here of Dignitas, the minute they stepped into the studio and they were able to practice, they haven't left their seats. They definitely have their eye on the prize here.
Yeah, I was talking to Crumbs. He said for the last month they've just been spamming solo queue, they've been scrimming, and they even have like an online translator ready in case there's any problems with the Koreans and like the communication here. So they've really been preparing for this event, and they want to see what they can do with the new lineup, and obviously they want to go big or go home during this LCS split. Yeah.
Well, yes, of course, and if it doesn't go well, then it's still the off-season, they can say, but I do think it will go pretty well. For Aces High, what should be the strategy here? What should they bet everything on Holy Phoenix and just bet out all the other AD carries?
I don't know what to expect from this pick and ban, to be honest. It can go either way. We see a lot of top lane focused bans, like 4 or 5 top lane bans. That's like fairly standard, but we can also see just like AD carry bans and then like maybe deny illusion, first pick Corki or something. I don't know. Like that's something I would go for maybe.
I really like this first ban here, because if I was Aces High, I want to aim for either Jarvan or Lee Sin, and I want to make sure the other team does not have an early game jungler like Jarvan or Lee Sin here. So by banning it early, we could potentially see the first pick Jarvan. It is a flex pick. You can have it both in the jungle and in the top lane. So I want to see them like aim for some snowballing, strong early lanes. You have an good early jungler, and then you simply try and surprise the other team.
Yep.
Yeah, we see a Narban coming in, not a big surprise after what we've seen him do so far, knowing he's very strong.
Shifter signature champion Ahri, obviously getting banned. Whenever Ahri is good, you know, you can count on Shifter playing it. He's been playing a lot of Zed and like Assassins lately, so maybe Ahri might be wasted ban because there are stronger picks in the mid lane, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe they just try to like have like reasonable research. But yeah, Ahri might be good ban, but I think there are like stronger bans right now, so we just have to see how this goes.
There's many different picks for him. Azir I like, especially because Azir is so strong in the late game, and he's so hard to play, but also so hard to play against. Yeah. If he gets ahead, I mean, he can kite around for days. He has long range poke. He can stay safe. I feel like on their side at the moment, by not banning Gnar and Azir, they're simply just taking out OP picks, and therefore making sure, okay, we won't get surprised by anything.
Jarvan once again.
I'm really surprised by the Jarvan ban, especially on blue side. I don't agree with it, because there's no reason to ban Lee Sin if you ban Jarvan too, because in my eyes, just a wasted ban here, like maybe a mistake or mispreparation. You want to have one of the twos, and if your jungler can't play both, then it's looking pretty bad, I have to say, for you right now.
Honestly, I was hoping to see an early game jungler coming in here. You might see like, okay, Lissandra being banned now, so we still have things like a Rumble is open, a Janna is open here. For the mid lane, I mean, for the picks we have seen so far, Zed, of course, has been a big one, and that is one that can snowball.
I actually agree with that, because it's probably like one of Shifter's best champions, and with banning the Ahri, so you take like two champions, and with Lissandra being banned, it opens up a lot of stuff for Zed too, because Lissandra is really good against Zed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see LeBlanc from Dignitas, but I don't really like the matchup. I think Zed wins the matchup really hard.
Super risky matchup.
So I think Zed is a really good pick here. I think very good first pick in terms of like how picks and bans go, I think.
And so, also still a fairly safe one. I mean, Zed doesn't really have any hard counters in lane. I mean, Jace can do super well against him, but most of the matchups for Zed are always skill based, because Zed has such a high ceiling. If you're super good on him, you can win pretty much every single matchup. Severe coming in.
Severe and
seen her a few times. I actually still really like her, especially because it's so much about these team fights at the moment around the dragon, around objectives, and that's where you have your ulti, speed up the Maokai as well. You can go Righteous Glory, and you have like this super fast Maokai just engaging into the enemy team.
Yeah, actually, if we see a standard lane, Maokai will be strong enough to deal with the Zed split push. From my experience, I think Maokai is a really solid pick in terms of like an answer to like Zed as split pushing, but if we see the lane swap, we can actually see that this will get abused, that Maokai can't really deal with Zed, and then Zed will get overwhelmingly strong, and then we'll just split push the entire game. But yeah, I think for a D carry choice right now, I mean, yeah, I agree. Rumble, obviously still open. Really good pick against Maokai, has been like used as a counter pick, and the Corki lock into that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Corki, lots of magic damage, and they have an AD mid lane, so I really like those 3 picks already for Ace. Yeah.
So far, they're making it super hard to itemize against, because there's so much magic damage. You have also the physical from the mid laner. Rumble against Maokai, we saw it a lot during Worlds. Maokai actually has a pretty good time, like 1 to 5. But once we see Rumble go back the first time, he gets a bit of AP, maybe even a Haunting Guys. He completely takes over the lane. Maokai can't do anything against him. Only problem is, Zed and Rumble together, I don't feel like it's the best synergy you have, because Rumble obviously wants to team fight, and you have the Zed who wants to split push. So unless they're looking to do like a 1-4, which they are setting up for with this Corki pick here, might be the case. We have to see what the last two picks will be. But that is going to be a very, very solid lineup.
Yeah, we have Rengar locked in for Crumbs. I mean, North American Rengar is...
It's
gotta
great.
see if did they learn from Impaler? Will it be absolutely dominating?
But also Janna. I think Janna might be one of the best picks right now in the game as first pick and ban. We see a lot of Korean teams pick it and ban it. And I think Janna is super strong, and I really like it together with the team comp, because they're very team fight heavy. They have a lot of good follow-up, like when Rengar just ultimates, jumps in on a target with the Sivir movement speed and Janna movement speed, and Maokai follow up on the target. It's very good. I really like the team composition from both teams actually.
Yeah, and they're really showing as well with like this super high mobility here. You have disengage if needed, but most importantly, you have a lot of engage tools. So if Zed is off in a side lane split pushing, you can start a fight super easy. You have a lot of follow up. Often when we see Rengar players here in EU and NA, the coordination isn't really there. Rengar goes in alone, dies instantly, and nobody can actually follow in time here. But this time around, they do have the combo to do.
And the LeBlanc, we almost forgot about it.
I mean, I kind of saw it happening that with all the bans mid lane and first pick that LeBlanc has to be picked.
Yeah.
I know Shifter doesn't like the matchup, but to be fair, Lissandra is banned. Lissandra is really good against LeBlanc too, and it's all down to just seeing how the jungle matchup goes. I mean, Nuno has like zero pressure, so
it's a confidence pick, but the problem is you have to go for some armor items on LeBlanc, delaying your own power spike in the early mid game, which could be a problem.
Yeah.
We'll see how this plays out. The players are loading into the game. We'll be back in 90 seconds, and we'll be on the Rift with Dignitas versus Aces High.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. My name is Joe Miller, joined here today, well, not just today, just for this game, at the end of today. You get my point.
For the rest of life, Joe.
For the rest of our lives, with Lee Demon Smith and, of course, our good buddy Sent Vicious joining us on the desk. What do we think to pick some bans, first of all, before we go into game?
I think they're pretty evenly matched team comps. Like, Nunu is a really good pick into Rengar. You can vision control him, shut him down early. LeBlanc into Zed is it's a 100% skill matchup. It's like one of the most even matchups you can possibly get. Rumble is in favor with the Maokai. You can actually bully him out really hard. But I don't know about the Corki pick. They picked Corki into Sivir, and I was actually really surprised they did that, because Holy Phoenix is a Draven main. I mean, he played Draven to get into Worlds, and I would thought they would just pick the Draven into Sivir and just go off with it, but maybe he's just not confident with it right now.
Well, there are the lineups for both these teams. We are going to get into game number 1 here between Aces High and Dignitas for the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne quarter-final. See who will be moving through into the next round. And Aces High, you know, coming in here with 2 subs. I actually spoke to Holy Phoenix before this game, and he's like, Joe, you casting our game? Yes, I am. I am indeed. And he said, yeah, we've got 2 subs. That's basically what he said. And from that, I kind of gathered that they're not feeling too confident here against the new Dignitas lineup.
Yeah, I think confidence is going to be a really big issue in here. Like, if you get a little bit behind and you have a team that doesn't really have like a morale or like the confidence, and you're just gonna fall. It's just gonna falter right there, and you're gonna lose all like your communication. It's just gonna be so terrible.
Well, speaking of confidence, deep wards coming out from Dignitas. Just a little bit of communication issues. That's something we've been talking about. We just heard, of course, OD talking about how the communication is going to work in Dignitas and how they've been using the online translator. I was about to say online dictionary for some reason. That's not really going to help them much. Online translator to communicate with, of course, the two new players. Gamsu in the top lane and, of course, Core JJ replacing I'm a Cutie Pie, a fan favorite there as the AD carry. 2 new Koreans picked up, and it's going to be interesting to see how they work out. Obviously, we've seen a lot of experiments throughout North America and Europe of teams going for these Korean players. Where do you stand on this one, Sate? Because obviously you're in that region that is affected. You are now in the LCS, yeah.
I mean, we have a Korean on our team, Keen. He actually came over from, he started in Korea, and then he switched over to the Oceanic server to play there, and he studied in New Zealand in school. And
yeah, it's a little different because that's like a full English-speaking guy. It's not like you've literally just plucked this guy out of South Korea.
He's actually really shy, but so it's like you have to really pull him to talk and be comfortable. But I mean, it's definitely it's on the team to make them feel comfortable and to help them adjust. So it's not really it's a whole team effort. Like everybody has to get involved in it.
I feel like there's a lot of money to be made by someone who makes a plugin for like TeamSpeak and stuff that automatically translates stuff in like a Microsoft SAM voice. So, you know, these guys can just communicate right from the very start.
I think there's a universal translator. I think Star Trek are ahead of you, but I'm not too sure we've got it quite in the real life yet. If they do get it, then yeah, there's hell of a lot of money to be made worldwide, I think, on that one.
I think that's my next idea.
There you go. We know how to do it. We can buy Notch's £70 million mansion in Los Angeles next time around.
It's got an M&M's wall.
I know.
Which is pretty ridiculous.
Just keep it a secret, guys. Don't let anybody know about it.
Yeah. I think we might mess that one up already. But we see here anyway, back to, you know, the game that we're actually here to watch and commentate. As you see, Theocles starting there with his red buff. Going to be taking that one away, of course, already done the blue over on the other side. And we'll see how this Nunu goes in the jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, Senvicious, that's obviously the obvious question to you. Nunu right now in the jungle, how good, how strong is he?
I know a lot of people don't like him. I think it's kind of like a playstyle choice because he's not really about like, oh my god, I did the most amazing gank. He's more about vision controlling and making sure you know where the enemy jungler is, and just basically being you're a second support for your team.
Did you see that ice blast I did? It was amazing.
Yo, you gotta throw some flash snowballs every now and then. There's high mechanic plays going on. Like, do you see that? He just consumed. Got it. Like the Raptor. Like that's high mechanic plays right there. He insect the Raptor camp.
So what sort of builds are you going to go with here? Because there was actually, you talk about it, obviously you've pulled out your tier list recently on Reddit, if you want to check it out, guys. Oh! Holy Phoenix just pounced and straight chased on out with Valkyrie. That was a quick and easy first blood that I don't think Core JJ, the new Korean in the team, was expecting, and Kiwi Kid almost went down. Of course, let's not forget Kiwi Kid does hold a joint record with Mixer, I think it is, for most deaths in the LCS.
I don't think that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's literally the record that you don't want to have.
I mean, a lot of that is Sona's a good counter pick into Janna because basically you poke her out early and she has no form of sustain, so you can just whittle her down. Same thing with Sivir, like low range champion. If you just poke them and poke them and poke them every time they go to farm, you can eventually get them to kill range, and that's just what happened there. And they have Ignite, so Ignite also gives you the advantage in lane for kill pressure.
So I mentioned earlier on that Holy Phoenix is like not too confident, maybe, you know, 2 subs coming in. His support, Noxiac, is actually one of those substitutes along with Avenue from the mid lane, who's already taken a bit of a beating. We see their Shifter diving right on top of him, Ignite taken away, but he's not going to go down from that one. Needed at least 1 or 2 ticks more. We'll actually be able to recall here, but bullied out of his lane nonetheless and already starting to fall behind a lot. And you mentioned, you know, Zed versus LeBlanc, pure skill matchup. Is he as good as Shifter? That's the question then when we're seeing this one. And for now, it looks like he might not be.
Well, also, I think a lot of it is Rengar actually has a really, really scary level 3 gank. So he has that pressure on him too. Whereas Nunu, it's like, how are you going to kill LeBlanc as Nunu? You're going to like snowball her, and she has so many ways of getting away, especially once it gets her ultimate. So there's really no pressure out of the jungle on that.
Oh, he was trotting up to top there, but got caught by a sapling straight away. And that puts a stop to any gank he has to offer. Crumbs, however, is level 4. And may well counter gank this one. You can see Theocles going in for this one. Gamsu playing this like a perfect actor. Can he set it up? Theocles gets caught out, stunned up. He's going down. Oh, flashes away. Just about got caught. Sapling wasn't enough to lock him down. Dignitas trying to set up the counter, but still no kills for them yet.
Yeah, and this is what I was commenting on. Basically, a lot of people don't like Nunu because it's a whole playstyle mindset. You got to get out of that gank mindset, and what he needs to be doing is he needs to be warding up Crumbs' jungle, finding out where he is so his lanes feel safe, and just basically he needs to control Crumbs. Like, that's his whole mission in life right now, is to ward up his near the Raptor camp, ward up near his wolves, like find out where he is. But instead he's going for like these easy ganks that you basically work in solo queue, but I don't think they're very good in competitive.
Yeah, not exactly working out so far. Crumbs in the right place at the right time to counter that push in the top lane. Meanwhile, down at bottom where we're looking right now, slight lead here for Holy Phoenix in terms of CS. Of course, has that first kill, which has given him that sheen in the laning phase, which seems to be causing Kiwi Kid and Core JJ a few issues here in the early stages of this one. We'll see how they actually deal with this. I mean, to be fair to them, they are doing well in terms of being pushed onto the tower and still keeping up in terms of farm as well.
Yeah, but this is really not where you want to be as a Sivir lane. Sivir, you want to be pushing the enemy in and using the fact that you can almost instantly clear a wave and just shove them into turret endlessly and harass them with the W ricochet. But when you're farming into the turret, you really can't use any of those tools.
Well, Trailblazer picked up by Theocles. Wasn't sure which way Nunu would go. There's actually a few options available in the jungle right now, but still kind of the Trailblazer tends to be the way most people go.
I mean, yeah, you don't really need the Chilling Smite that much because you can already slow people in Nunu anyways, and poachers are just absolutely useless. But, I mean, a lot of Nunus, what they do is they'll get the Trailblazer item, and then they won't even get boots. They'll just get Sightstone, like first item, and then just start putting wards everywhere around the map and being as annoying as possible.
Which is, funnily enough, not what Theocles is doing up until now, but we'll see if that's where he goes after this one. We have actually seen the recall from Core down in that bottom lane. Blue buffs, of course, going to be starting to be gifted over onto those mid laners as see Avenue getting his shifter over the other side. Also will pick up his with a thanks to Crumbs on that one. Crumbs himself has hit level 6, and that's where he starts to become a little bit more dangerous. We'll see exactly where he focuses. Right now, you look at the CS overall, in favor in the top lane, in favor in the mid lane for both Gamsu and Shifter. This bottom lane is where they're having a few little issues, and that's where I'd expect at least that Rengar to be headed.
Well, I gotta be surprised. Like, the Zed actually caught up a decent amount in CS. I think he was down like 20-something CS after he almost died in the original mid lane trade. And he managed to catch up pretty good in CS, so he's not in that bad of a spot.
Well, we'll see how Rumble works out for Thaldrun in this top lane. Thaldrun, I think he was one of the former members of Dark Passage back in 2013, so he would have played with Holy Phoenix back then. So there is a little bit of synergy across this team. Of course, Aces High was the team that was created by Holy Phoenix. Well, it wasn't just by him on his own, but he was one of the players that left Dark Passage after the World. So if you wonder where that team went and why he's in a different team right now, it kind of all fell apart at World, sadly, as it has for many teams, including, obviously, Samsung White, the world champions. But Theocles clearing out that ward and instantly gets replaced by Kiwi Kid. Not going to get away with that one. But he is heading down towards the bottom half of the map right now. Will come across. Not exactly stealthy because Kiwi Kid, of course, saw him heading this way, so they're going to be aware, and you can see them deep by their own turret. But Crumbs, trying to set up a counter, knows where the jungler is in the lower half of the jungle, see if he can create anything against them.
Yeah, and this is really the difference between the junglers. If Nunu had warded up Crumbs' jungle, he would know where he is, so he could be ready for the counter gank. Instead, he doesn't really have any information on where the jungler is, so he's waiting down there for a gank that's just not coming.
Oh, now we see Crumbs stealthing himself up, ulti running, going to dive straight in on towards Soldier, and this should be Dignitas' first kill of the game. It will go over to Crumbs there, and really nicely worked. I mean, Folgering, when you're that far up the lane, already uses Equalizer earlier on, which was a little bit questionable for me, the way that he used that one, but that will mean that the first kill of the game for Dig goes over on towards Crumbs, but there's a crescendo down the bottom. Core actually being forced to flash away. The Monsoon from Kiwi Kid not exactly doing what it was meant to do there, I think. And Holy Phoenix will catch the boomerang. No kill down in the bottom, but once again, Aces High, we thought this was going to be their strongest area. Holy Phoenix has shown already in his previous teams that he can carry games, can win games for his team. And I think that's going to be a big point of focus in this one. If they can shut Holy Phoenix down, they multiply their chances big time.
Yeah, and a lot of this is just that Sona pick. It's just bullying the lane so hard. I'm surprised they didn't put more into pressuring her and trying to keep that Sona down, because she doesn't really have any escapes, and she doesn't even have boots, so if you get any ganks on that Sona, she's just free kill.
Uh-oh, speaking of Sona being a free kill, this may well be happening. Kiwi can go deep though. He's going to get turned around. Holy Phoenix should get the return kill. Now they're going to chase. Thaldron teleports in there. Core JJ gets slowed down. He's going to burn him down with that flame spitter and just run him down. That is going to set up the dragon for Aces High.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really surprised. It was actually a really fast reactive TP. They got down there on point, on time, and really good communication out of the team. Like, you figure a team that has a bunch of subs, they be mixed up in things, and they're good to go.
There is that dragon going down. Gamsu trying to put some pressure onto this top tower, though, trying to trade dragon for tower. We'll see if he can actually finish this one off. I don't think with just 2 minions there that he'll be able to actually finish this one off in time, which means he'll take a couple of turret hits for his pleasure. But, of course, that TP used by Thaldron to go down the bottom thanks to that little reactive gank will mean that he has to walk himself up to that top lane, and this turret then with the next wave will be taken down. So that's the trade that they're going for. Obviously, lost out on a couple of kills down that bottom lane, which leaves Aces High with the advantage kill-wise, but they are over 1,000 gold behind now.
Yeah, and a lot of that just comes from the CS in the lanes. Like, I mean, Zed is what? He's almost 15 CS down. The Rumble's like 20-something CS down. It's, yeah, they're just all falling behind. Even the Nunu's falling behind him. Nunu just farms really great in the jungle. So they just don't know how to farm, I guess.
Well, Sona taking a fair amount of damage there. You saw Shifter also putting a good trade on towards Avenue. We haven't seen actually too many of the trades between these. They have had a few tit-for-tats in that mid lane, but as it stands, it is still 0-0 in the mid lane. It's the bottom lane where the kills have been coming, and of course the top lane for Dignitas. 3-2 the score overall. Fairly even early start here. Crumbs is going to clear out that ward, but Theocles is nearby. I wonder if he's going to maybe try and create a play here. It's not exactly a scary drive-by gank, but Shifter's quite far ahead. Instead, he's going to eat an Ice Blast, and, well, he's going to use the Absolute Zero, which did a reasonable amount of damage, honestly, for this earlier level.
That's the advanced Nunu mechanics I was talking about. That was an on-point.
Oh, counter.
Yeah, Crumb's going to come into this one. Theocles going to be the obvious target here, and a little bit of damage coming out from Crumbs, but not really masses of it at this stage of things, and actually takes more damage, I think, than he gave out there, thanks to those Razor Shurikens from Avenue. Meanwhile, bottom lane being pushed out, and once again, Holy Phoenix putting some decent damage down onto this tower. There is a Howling Gale landing, though. Holy Phoenix might be in trouble, unless, you know, he lands a Phosphorus Bomb and just turns that completely on its head.
One thing I want to point out that I noticed in this game that neither of the junglers are doing, that Jankos actually did in all of it, in all the games that they played before this, is the Scuttle Crab. It's really easy to kill, especially as Nunu and Rengar, and it only has like a 750 health, and it gives like 55 gold with the upgraded jungle item. It's just easy. You literally run up and one-shot it, you get vision in the river, and it gives a really large amount of gold just for that quick amount of effort.
You tell that to the supports of the world, like Crepo, that have spent about 5 minutes trying to take down that poor
Well, he
Scuttle
shouldn't
Crab.
be trying to do that anyways, man. Get away from that. Give him, that's my gold.
Well, when there's some bad junglers in the games, you got to deal with it. We can't all be as good as you, saying. We can't all qualify for the North American LCS. Congratulations on that one, by the way. So, at the moment, Aces High have the leading kills, but not in gold. Dignitas are very much holding that one because they took down that top turret. That is going to unleash Gamsu. Where is he going to go? Is he going to stick around and keep on farming? Because so many times we talked about Outworlds, a Rumble, if you let them free farm, it's a problem. And once he gets their source boots, he's kind of completed his build.
Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of damage, but it looks like he's using his ult to farm the wave. I mean, he's not really putting any pressure on the Maokai because he's so scared of this Rengar. And this is all because of the Nunu. Like, the Nunu got the Sightstone, he has Mobies and can get around the map really fast. But have you seen him cross the river once to put a ward in the enemy jungle? Like, he needs to find out where that Rengar is so his lanes feel safe.
Oh, he's just called your bluff there, mate.
Right, that's as far as he's going.
And then straight away got cleared out by Crumbs. Both of them going down. So immediately that vision quickly removed, and Dignitas back in control. Leandre is completed by Rumble, though. We'll see whether that makes a difference, of course, up against that Rod of Ages. He may fancy it going in towards the next duel. He's going to keep pushing, but like you said, zero vision in that river, or indeed the entire top half of the map for Aces High. So he is pretty much running blind, and looks like he has to put his own wards down. That's where he's going.
Yeah, and a great thing out of Gamsu, he actually has been doing this all game, where he he deep wards himself. He has pressure in the lane, and he just walks up into the enemy jungle, puts the ward down. He knows where the enemy top laner is. He knows where the jungler is, and just information is everything in these kind of matchups, and they're just using it to their advantage.
Bottom lane continues, though, to be pushed up completely by Aces High. We can see that turret from earlier on was battered down to half HP, and Holy Phoenix continues to try and get in there. Actually got a really nice little lead there. 200 CS. That would be more than just a nice little lead. 20 CS lead plus that 2-0-0 scoreline in his favor. And now this is the first outing for Core JJ. So far, not exactly had the best of times. Pickaxe and the Avarice Blade for him at this stage. Going to take him quite a while before he actually, gets to where he needs to be in terms of build.
Yeah, I mean, they're really pressuring the turret, and they're not really getting any love from Crumbs, which is fine. I mean, they're farming under the turret just fine, and they're not going to be the ones that carry this game. It's going to be your mid lane, your jungle, your top lane. They're going to carry the game, and all Sivir has to do is be utility for the team. Like, you're going to ult, you're going to speed up the Maokai, he's going to fly into the team, and that's literally your whole job, and just be there for backup damage.
Well, the turret's going down, but they're going to try and turn aggression. There's going to be the crescendo. It was blocked off by the spell shield, I feel. Kiwi Kid taken low, though. Aces High doesn't fancy following it. Teleport came in from Thaldron, and it was not enough. They do get the tower down. That will get them fairly close in gold. And look at that. Theocles putting some wards down in the jungle just in time for the dragon to spawn. And this would be dragon number 2 for Aces High for it to secure it.
I mean, they have vision in the enemy jungle, but they don't really have any pinks to really set up for the dragon, so they're not scared to go in.
Yeah, and Theocles just going to get blown to pieces there by Shifter. Was in that curve brush, trying to get some more vision down, and basically a free kill there, really, for Shifter. And, of course, the dragon did just spawn in there. And to be honest, their recalling Rumble's going to be leaving Zed in that mid lane. Sona, the only one really close. And Gamzu started off this dragon. The rest of the team will start to come around. And this should be basically a freebie for Dignitas.
Yeah, Sona doesn't even have an ultimate up either, so I don't think that they could team fight this even if they wanted to. So this is going to be a free dragon. Like, it's one dragon to one dragon, so they're going to be on equal footing as far as the dragon power goes.
Yeah, counters the buff bonus they gained over Dignitas, so now Dignitas have that lead because the gold is in their favor. We'll see how it works out. You can see the duo pairing had grouped up in this mid lane. This mid turret is fairly low. It's been some good work from Avenue there, but they are going to have to defend off that bottom turret. Stop Kiwi Kid and Core JJ, who are setting up a gank themselves. They're going to go for Holy Phoenix, get the Zephyr down, slow him down. Howling Gale is not quite close enough. Valkyrie's away. And that was a very good boomerang coming out from Core to just chunk down Holy Phoenix. He's actually on his own. They may dive on him down near this bottom turret. You can see Crumbs is about to join them as well down this bottom half of the map, Joe. They are going to get countered. Theocles is there. Teleport comes in. This is a dead Holy Phoenix.
Well, you'd expect so. We'll see if that actually turns out to be true. Will actually be finished off there. It's Gamzu that gets the kill. And there's a Howling Gale actually onto Noxiac at the back. He'll be forced to use his crescendo just to make sure that Gamzu and Kiwi Kid can't keep the control up there. Theocles was down on that bottom side, but honestly really didn't have a lot to offer in that scenario. And that will be another kill going down for Dignitas. Leaves now a kill for top jungle and mid lane at this point, and the support, of course. A little kill stolen away by Kiwi Kid earlier on. Meanwhile, Thaldrin on that top side got the freedom since Gamzu used his teleport. Is going to do some good damage, if not even take down this tower.
Yeah, so all of that they did just down at the bottom there. All of that pressure they put on, they didn't get the tower. They've almost lost his top tower. Crumbs is going to go for this one. And not too sure. I think, yeah, the old one's dead here. It's actually pretty close, pretty overheated. Now if he can turn around and try and get the splitter. Flame splitter on him. No. Crumbs flashes, is not having any of it. Manages to finish it. What I was about to say is, despite the fact they got a kill, they actually almost lost 2 towers. The mid turret is still going Avenue's way. Every time he steps away, he's just beating down that turret. And they defended the bottom turret, so it was a kill, great, but no objectives.
Yeah, I feel like you might not want to use your Rumble ultimate on the menu wave every single time it's up. I mean, it's pretty good against enemies, like especially the Leandries. So I don't know. But Crumbs actually has the Mobies, and I think he has 3 stacks. Yeah, he has 2 kills and assists. So he actually has really high out of combat movement speed. So he was able to get from the bot lane after they did that dive, and he immediately ported back to base and just beeline for the top turret. He saw that he used his ulti on the minion wave. He's like, oh my god, like
free
this
kill.
is free kill, man. I cannot wait for this. So yeah, he just went in and cleaned up.
Speaking of freebies, there will be a turret possibly taken down here. Zed actually going to come back across. Actually, we'll use a death mark there on towards Core JJ, who spell shields basically to block all of that coming through. Meanwhile, Gamsu will be chasing them down. Not sure that he can actually follow in there. We're quite far underneath their own tower there. Nunu will come around as well. Meanwhile, Shifter, while this is all going on in his lane, is actually down the bottom pushing the turret.
Yeah, you should have gone AD, man. AD LeBlanc right here. This would be taking this turret so much faster. What a fool.
What a fool. If only he'd knew the build. But Aces High are the ones putting the pressure on. That tower is low in the mid lane. Can he get some pressure on towards it? Holy Phoenix getting the shots on it, but will take a tower hit himself. Sneaks in, gets the tower down. Gamsu low. Crescendo goes on him. He may get popped off here. Has to flash away. Popside ultimate will be able to escape. Shifter is making his way up the river, so Aces High need to hit and run, and that is exactly what they're doing. They're going to back away, just hold off that turret. Crumbs, he's waiting to ulti in that mid lane.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to kill anybody off of this. I mean, Sona may not have her ultimate, but I don't think they're going to be pushing up any further. There's no, like, the turret's not there, so there's no real reason to go up any further.
I see wards cleared out. Actually, the chain's missing there onto Noxiac, which Shifter might have been able to secure the kill with. When you look at that health bar, say almost definitely if that one would have landed and he could get the proc off to stun him up. This turret, though, looking like it will be going down. So whilst Aces High did get one, they will, in fact, lose straight out on that one. Actually, Rumble pushing quite heavily on that top lane. He's already been kind of caught out in that position before, though. Actually, will spot Crumbs around the other side, despite his ultimate going out thanks to that pink ward. And that means that he can actually back away. Stay safe there. No turret behind him. Always dangerous to be that far up your lane when you've got no vision.
Yeah, at least he had his ult this time. He got that going for him.
Managed to hold on to it, didn't raise it too early. So, 2 turrets to 3. Aces High just trying to secure that top one, which actually is close to falling. We'll see what they do now, though. Now that they've opened the map up a little, you can see they're starting to get a few wards a little deeper into Dignitas' map. Give them a little bit of coverage. It's a minute until the dragon, so this is good timing. There's going to be the Scuttle Crab going their way. It's going to continue to keep that vision. Kiwi Kid spotted that ward out, knows that it is there, and they are well aware. Core JJ immediately give him a warning, don't push any further because Avenue is waiting for you.
But a lot of that, they're just setting up wards in the enemy jungle so that the Zed will be able to split push and put pressure without having to worry about people sweeping in and killing them. Because this is how you play Zed at this point in the game. You just keep split pushing until you hit level 16 and then hit your power spike and then try to group the team or pick people off.
Wow, flash there from Kiwi Kid. And a little bit caught out inside of his own jungle. Avenue has moved into that roll down on the bottom side of the map. Needs to be a little careful on that one, though, with Crumbs having that possibility to just flank around the side. They sent Core down there to actually finish off that minion wave. He now, by the way, has that Infinity Edge finished. Will be coming up with a static shift here in a moment or two. Already got the 2 core parts of that one, as they are going to spot Noviak out. And actually, I'm not sure that's the position that he really wants to be. And he throws down the crescendo. There's an equalizer coming off the side. Actually, Core flashing away there. He saw Zed coming in from the side. There's a boomerang. We'll get him the kill as well. Valdrin was off in the brush. Most of the damage coming through from the Blanc. And there's the trying to turn something around here onto Crumbs, flash away, but he's in the brush. He's got a flash of, actually he didn't even flash there, it was just a jump that sent him through. Holy Phoenix will be caught in there as well, and honestly, this could very well be an ace. The Hercules, the last man left alive, will actually be forced to flash over the wall, and this means that Dragon's going to be taken down, plus 4 kills for Dignitas.
I think that was just them not being on the same page. That could have actually been really, really good for Aces, because, I mean, you're funneling into this tight little choke against Sona ultimate and Rumble ulti. Imagine if they just like hit those ultimates perfect together, and then Nunu's ulting on top of that, and you have Corki AoE going off. They could have just cleaned up all of Dignitas right there, but it just looked, they just weren't there on the same page at all.
Yeah, the Crumbs definitely kept them guessing. There are a lot of bushes around there he could pounce around to, and then great play on the Zed, actually, getting that stun down with the bolo, I think it was, just as he pounced in there. So, ace, almost for Dignitas, almost. But ace is high, and they now have to sit back and think, really, how do we approach this one? Because it was close to setting up, but the problem is they've just gave a gigantic chunk of gold to Dignitas and the other dragon buff, of course, which is the 15% bonus. Gamsu very much not afraid of Thaldron, who never really has got going in this top lane. He's just, it looks like he's going to be dead meat again, because we're watching Crumbs coming in. He's 3-0-3. He's ready to pounce, stealth up, Is he going to go for it? He's going to be a 2v2, but this 2v2 they very much will take. In fact, the rest of the team, Dignitas, all grouping, all gathering, all pushing up towards his top tower. They know it's where Aces High want to go. I'm not too sure it's a fight they want, though.
Yeah, Thaldrin's actually pretty much going to fall to Gamzu there all alone. There is the ultimate from Rumble coming out. This is actually not bad for Aces High, managing to pick up 1 kill, but they surely will get cleaned up here as Shifter comes around. Chains will be flashed away from there by Thaldrin. Question is, will the second one actually land? And there it is, double kill coming in for Shifter, and that will be 3 men down. No reply really from Aces High. Looked good until the next 2 men from Dignitas piled in.
Yeah, that's just not using your team comp to what it's good at. Like, Zed is supposed to split push, and you're supposed to be playing safe, while the Zed pretty much does all the work. Like, he's pretty much your whole team comp right now. If you saw, not only did they fight a fight, and you might die here, they fight a fight that he's not supposed to fight, but the Zed actually roamed to mid instead of splitting bottom there. He could have gotten a free turret there. I don't know. He like keeps coming back to the team when he should just stay split from them.
Well, here we go. This is the fight all over again. Take us through this one, Saint, because it was close. It almost worked.
I mean, yeah, it almost worked, but if you look, Shifter's here with the team. They know Zed's bottom. They're like, oh, yeah. 5v4. Like, I like those odds. I'll take those. I mean, they had a really good Rumble ult, really good Son ult, got good Corki AoE. I mean, the fight looks like it should work, but where's your Zed at? He's split pushing, and you know he's split pushing, so you need to be playing like a wussy the whole time.
Clean-up time with the double kill as well for Shifter, because he came in, got themselves them kills. Right, Crumbs, he's speeding around to this red buff. Holy Phoenix is not going to want this. Gets stunned up, pounces on towards him, and look at the damage Crumbs has now. He's also tanking the red buff. All too easy for Crumbs. He just destroys him in there. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
So Rengar, is it back? Because we've had this debate actually on the first day. I remember Dexter was quite adamant that actually Rengar is very much a viable pick right now.
Oh, I definitely think it's a viable pick, but it's still behind the Lee Sin and the Jarvan picks. I think those are like clearly the 2 defined like top tier jungles, and I think were both of them banned this time? Or I know Lee Sin was banned. I'm not sure about the Jarvan, but yeah. But the Nunu should be able to handle this in theory if he like actually played it right.
I think we saw Impaler playing it as well, didn't we, in the expansion?
Yeah, there's a couple teams that actually like him. I mean, he still has the same strengths as he did before. He just has a lot weaker early game. If you notice, like, Crumbs just did nothing but farm until he was 6, because you're just too low health to do anything else. But
let's stay on the jungle topic. Like, you release your tier list. I'm just curious because I didn't actually look at it. Where is Nunu on that?
But I can tell you he's got Karthus in the top, which basically everyone went,
that's a solo queue list, by the way. That's a solo queue list.
Okay.
But no, I put Nunu as A tier. Like, he's pretty much like right below like the God tier, which is like Lee Sin and Jarvan. And he's a really good pick into Rengar. He just didn't play the pick how it's supposed to be played. So I don't know. It's just like you can clearly see when like a person that doesn't play Nunu and like they don't have that right mindset, and it's like they're playing it like it's a Lee Sin or they're playing it like it's a Jarvan, and you just can't play it like that. You have to play like you're the support, and you need to help your team out. And it's just not doing that.
Oh dear. There, he's going to get pounced on. Theocles. The rest of the team are close by. Can they land the wombo combo? No, they're going to get picked off around the side instead. Gamsu's already got himself the kill. The crescendo was great, but there's no follow-up. That was a fantastic shift is so low. They're just getting picked off one by one. Good combos, but no follow-up.
Yeah, I feel so bad. They have such a great team. Like, their team comp is actually really good when it's fit together perfectly, but they just keep being like one little piece off of making the perfect machine. You know, it's just, it's almost there.
Oh, here's a pusher. I'm going to try and stop them recalling. Actually, Crumb's just getting away with that one. Gamsu is there as well. We see that Aces High starting to move around there towards the Baron. A couple of men from Dignitas still decently healthy, so nothing like a Baron attempt at this point, 30 minutes into the game. Dignitas have a commanding lead, 10,000 gold, less than 30 minutes into the matchup. If you look at those kills, spread really nicely across the board as well. 4 for the top lane, 4 for the jungle, 3 in mid, 3 in AD carry, and a couple of kills for Kiwi Kid there on Janna as well. And this is, you know, the time now, 30 minutes in, where you're thinking, okay, how do we close out this game? It's always a good start, killing off the jungler. Just go Baron at this point?
Wait, I want to see this game turn into the signature Dignitas Baron, though. Like, that would make me so warm inside. I'm like, yeah, that's the boys I know. They're back.
They've still got it. They've still got it. Yeah. Well, we've seen a couple of Baron issues and a couple of Dragon misses, especially in the expansion yesterday when that Corki missile managed to get in there. But there's the Baron start. Instead, it looks like Ace is high, happy to just push that mid down. They've got themselves the outer turret. They may actually get the inner turret before this Baron goes down. There's the teleport. No, Gamsu's going straight to it. Is he going to get interrupted by the Baron? No, he isn't. And instead, they get there in time. They protect the tower and get the Baron.
Yeah, but you got to remember on this patch, I think Baron only lasts 3 minutes. So you have to be really on point with like your pushing. You have a very small window to do anything.
Does it limit the standard effect of like when you go, oh, they're going to go for it here. They're going to go straight in towards it. Avenue's going to get caught out. Chain's not quite enough. Equalizer will slow them down, but Dragon is going to spawn. Looks like they're going to set up for this one. But I'll go back to my point is, does it change the fact that you normally get Baron, everybody go back to buys, everybody buy, and then come back and push it? Do you have to like, okay, we got Baron, okay, we actually need to use it?
Well, before when you had Baron, you basically had enough time to like push it. If you have a really good push, you could go back to buy, push down mid or top or bottom, whatever lane you want to do, and then you could go back to buy again, and then you actually had a small window where you could push in another turret with that Baron wave. But now it's really hard to do that. You usually can only get down one inhib. And I'm actually curious if Kiwi Kid's going to go for the banner command here. Because once you have Baron and banner command, you can just empower that cannon minion, and you just like sit outside the base and just like laugh. And the cannon minion does all the work. But I don't know. I want to see what he goes for here.
Well, let's see. Now bottom lane being pushed up onto the inner turret. Corki is off to the side at this point, but honestly, not sure what he can do. Well, he will be able to clear it out now because Core's actually just headed back. And guessing, yeah, just going to spend up that gold that he's got with the Infinity Edge, Bloodthirst, the Static Shiv now, along with the Berserker Greaves for Core. So, where's the next move coming in? Shifter pushing straight down the middle lane, and there is the Banner of Command.
All right, he's got the secret weapon. So this is what you do. You literally just walk down a lane and then super buff a cannon minion, and it becomes immune to spells. And they don't really have like a lot of long-range physical damage to deal with this cannon minion. So you just park outside their base, and then just laugh maniacally as the cannon minion kills everything.
Let's have a look at the middle lane then. Let's see if he's exactly what he's going to do. There it is. It is a gigantic cannon minion firing from range. I don't think they even need it, but
yeah,
they have got the towers pretty much in their control. But the idea is there.
It's style points, all right?
It works, it's style. It's obviously got the making Soulzilla as well. That's going to be Theocles going down 0-5-0. It's not been a fun time for him, that's for sure. And that was a clean pickup on the inhib as well. Looks like they may even try to close the game out. There it is, the gigantic cannon minion.
All right, it's not that fast, but it gets the job done, okay?
Takes him a little while. I mean, if you leave him alone, then he's probably going to end up dying anyway. Holy Phoenix finishing that one off. Looks like they actually want to take out this top lane while their Shifter actually getting crescendoed, but as soon as that runs out, he just hops straight back over onto his starting point with that W, and they can just continue once again to push straight in on towards this one. And Holy Phoenix getting blasted down, and I don't think Shifter's quite done there, and that's the problem. They can't really step up onto these turrets where they kind of need to be since they've got that Baron buff in there. And that's just 2 inhibitors pushed down. And I think at this stage of the game, first Baron going down at about 30 minutes, 2 inhibitors is pretty much job done there.
Yeah, now they just have to walk down bottom. You can banner command another minion, and then you just wait for all the super minions to push in and just win the game off of that. Unless Dignitas do some crazy throw.
Which we can't rule out.
Yeah, we can't rule that. I've seen it, man. I've been in those games,
You've
actually.
experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, it happens, but I think they're going to play this one a little bit more patient, so.
Yeah, and there's obviously Shifter looking solid, 4-0-5. Just saw him pick up the kill on Noxia there, Noxiac. And the thing is like once you get that fed as a LeBlanc, you see a Sona on the other team, it's just like, wow, I'm going to get some free kills in this game, that's for sure. Question is, can they set up this gang? Here they go. It's the 2 carries. They are out of position. The rest of the team coming around, but oh, Crumbs is behind them. Crumbs is going to be the surprise factor. They're going to put everything on Shifter, and now Crumbs is going to say surprise. Jumps onto Holy Phoenix, tries to put enough down on them. They haven't quite got enough. The wombo combo is simply not enough to take the 3 down. They do manage to shut down Shifter, but at what price? Because the rest of the team are collapsing on them. They're running for their lives. Don't forget the super minions pushing through the mid lane as well at the moment. They are just going to try and head that off. Rumble's doing what he can. Kiwi Kid, flash on the Monsoon, bouncing back in there. Great control from Kiwi Kid, keeping the Holy Phoenix from escaping there. That's going to be the final kid. A teleport actually from Thaldron. Why he teleported from his own base, I guess they just realized this is GG, because he was the only thing stopping those super minions that are now on the Nexus turrets.
All right, this is where Sona makes the big play and actually backdoors the Nexus by herself. And wait, never mind, that's not happening. I'll shoot some dead.
Free kill.
Not sure why he didn't just stay in base and die at that point, but really not sure. Either way, Kiwi Kid is already doing the base, and there's a surrender vote coming in from Aces High, and well, Dignitas taking game number 1 here, 35 minutes in. Easy peasy.
They're actually asking why you guys fed bot lane. That's what they're asking him right now.
Yeah, I think he was like, why did they surrender? I was having fun. I was enjoying that, 6-2-10. But yeah, so solid stuff from Dignitas. Took a little longer than we saw, obviously, Rocket playing earlier on. But overall, how do we make of this new lineup? CoreJJ, of course, got caught out. He was first-blooded, but actually looked pretty solid on Sivir.
Well, you know, actually how the teams matched up, I thought in the early game was pretty decently even. I mean, the bot lane did a lot better than I thought it would, and mid was not too far behind. But it just looked like the top lane and the jungle, there was just, yeah, this looked like they were outclassed. I don't know. It was not that good.
Yeah, I'm not... Nunu pick for me just didn't really do anything at all in that one. Really didn't work out for them. I guess it's back to the drawing board here for Aces High. Going down here in game number 1. We're going to go over, though, to Shocks and the guys on the analyst desk to break down that easy win for Dignitas.
Thank you very much. And well, guys, as Joe highlighted, that Nunu pick didn't really do all that much. And that's the first thing that you guys said when the draft was completed, because they had some pretty good picks coming in there, building a solid comp. But then those last two, in Sona and Nunu, not really rounding it up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the Nunu was supposed to do at all. I mean, Nunu doesn't have very good synergy with a Corki, for instance, and at the same time, how are you going to use it with the Zed or Rumble? They banned out 2 junglers, Lee Sin and Jarvan themselves, and they wanted to first pick the Zed, which was okay because they got the Zed first pick. But if you only have Nunu left as a jungler in this situation, it just didn't do anything. I mean, you do have the potential to counter jungle. The problem is, you didn't have lanes who will be able to shove early on. I mean, LeBlanc Zed, they go fairly even in the early stages. And obviously Maokai in the top lane, as we talked about, the very first few levels, Maokai can actually push the lane in here. So you cannot invade on the Nunu, you just die, and it just ended up doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, there's nothing to add.
Yeah, there's nothing that didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, picks and bans, like banning out 2 junglers on blue side is probably not the best way to go right now, and then wrapping it up with a Nunu pick is just not very, very effective. That's one way to put it. I mean, he didn't do anything, let's be honest. He just didn't do anything. No deep wards, just farming his own jungle, taxing mid lane, and that's like the only thing I saw. And then
basically, yeah, I mean, so we had a good combo on the other side for Dignitas here where they basically predicted or had a plan going in from the start. As soon as Zed was locked in, they went for Maokai Rengar, so they had a lot of engage going into a lot of pick potential as well. If Zed is split pushing, which we saw multiple times in the game, whenever he tried to split push, we just saw an engage, and the team ended up dying, and Zed tried to run in way too late, couldn't do anything. And then also, they didn't pick the Corki, which has been the number 1 AD carry pick, simply because, okay, we want the Sivir with the Rengar, with the Maokai, so we let them go Corki, we take the counter pick in lane at least. They just ended up playing the bottom lane wrong from their side, CoreJJ and Kiwi Kid. When you play that matchup, all you do is you push the lane 24/7. Corki and Zona, if they use abilities to push the wave back, they suddenly don't have any poke left because Zona uses the Q and Corki uses the Q. And therefore you can safely just stand there, push the wave again and again. Instead, they started to fight. Against a Zona and a Corki, that trade you're going to lose, and also gave up first blood to Holy Phoenix.
Yeah, because it did start off really well with the deep wards, but then...
I mean, while it also went horrible in the picks and bans and Nunu didn't do anything, we have to actually give credit to Ace, I think. They played the early game pretty good for their part. I mean, they had like bot lane first blood, and then Corki was like 2-0, Triforce BF. Then they actually managed to group up mid lane and took the tower, which was really like advanced level gameplay, I have to say. You know, it's like super good.
Hey, the Nunu helping out there, anyways.
I mean, he's taking Blood Boil, I guess.
Yeah, he gets help. So,
there you go. I'm helping.
But yeah, Nunu got caught out, and then they got the dragon in return, and then that's where the game kind of completely snowballed into the other favor. And then Rengar, 2-0 or something at this point, already super fed. He went 2 damage items because he already had the super tank in the top lane with the Maokai doing well. First gank on Rengar, obviously, on the top lane in a counter matchup to help out Maokai a bit. And then at that point, Rumble couldn't really do much. And then, I mean, Rumble was still fairly effective, I have to say. Even if his score 1-6 doesn't really reflect it, he actually had like a lot of impact, you know, just from his ultimate alone. And if they would have, if they would have been a bit better in terms of like execution, then the Rumble pick could have done a lot more even when being behind. So I actually could have seen Ace taking this game based on the early game.
If we do have the same comps again, let's just say exactly the same comps for next game, except for the Nunu maybe, switch it up with something else. But then I would actually like to see bottom lane, they can handle themselves from aces high here. We just saw it before. They won the bottom lane. Mid lane, fairly even, slightly behind. Shifter played a good LeBlanc in here. He even had a small lead, and that's why you could go for Codex first, the cooldown reduction, and then into Arm Guard, which is what you can do if you are ahead in the lane. And obviously get the Arm Guard as soon as possible after, so you can survive the all-in. And then in the top lane, when your Rumble gets the Haunting guys against the Maokai, that's where your jungler runs to top lane and make sure you can now pressure this lane here, because what ended up happening was Crumbs would just come on Rengar, pop his ulti, Maokai locked down the Rumble, and they killed him, and they couldn't really use the Haunting guys for anything. I want to see the jungler go up there, press the advantage in the top lane, the other two lanes can handle themselves.
So actually, I think Zed did actually fairly well in mid lane, to be honest. I mean, I expected Shifter, despite being like, let's say, a better player, more established player, I think he could have crushed him, let's say. But Zed hold his own, but he did a wrong item build, in my opinion. If he would have went Brutalizer, like Cutlass, those two efficient items over like this buy, then I think he would have maybe punished LeBlanc a bit harder. And yeah, we talked about it before. It's like a bit too much of respect.
Yeah, it's a little bit too passive, and it gives the lane over to LeBlanc to basically control it. Yeah, she won't be able to kill you, but you can't return damage to her either. So Cutlass first item, if you want to have the all-in potential, which you should have, also helps you with some of the sustain.
Yeah, finally, as we were talking about the items, we had a little bit of discussion about the Banner of Command going for Janna. Of course, everything was going well
and
for Dignitas at that point. And the Captain Foods on the Maokai. Would you go? You wouldn't go for the Banner of Command, did you say?
I mean, in this case, I would have probably, like, if the...
But in this case, he could have built...
Well, you could have built sort of the Divine Janna and just killed it now, but
rest in peace.
I just think that I mean, Banner of Command obviously a strong item, simply because if you have Baron and the minion gets the range on the tower, then it's super hard to actually kill that minion, and the only way you kill that minion is like with magic damage. And Banner of Command actually allows the minion to be immune to magic damage, so that you have to imagine like this big minion hitting the tower for like 15% tower shots, and you can't even clear it. Like if the Banner of Command buff is on it, it's out of tower range and it will never get killed, and then it's super... I think it's kind of broken, man.
It's pretty good on Janna. I mean, you have good AP scalings. It's actually a very cost-efficient item as well, even without using the Black Shell on this minion here, and it was just timed perfect. We have the Baron, we're going to buff up the minions, we have the Black Shell, and obviously Janna had 20 stacks in the end on the Soul Stealer, so a lot of AP for Kiwi Kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Great game by him as well. Well, great showing from Dignitas here in Game 1. We will see what the Aces High can pull out of their sleeves after the break.